and welcome to the Fat Squirrel Speaks. Today is January 31st. It's the last day of 2012. When you see this, it will probably not be, but in fact, the first of, but 2013, but it's the last day for me. And this is episode 44. Hi, how are you? It's been so long. I have so much to tell you. It's out of control. So this, oh, there. So hi, new people. I am your host, Sandra Beth, also known as the Fat Squirrel, on Ravelry and Plurk. You can find show notes at thefatsquirrel.com. If you're a returning viewer, you totally already know that. Thanks for putting up with me. Oh my gosh, it's been so long. How are you? Did you have a super fantabulous, uberific holiday-tastic time? I did. Which is part of the reason I have so much to talk about. So let's just talk about it for briefly, just for seconds. Let's just talk about the disclaimers for this episode. Are you ready? Here we go. I am wearing a god-awful yellow hoodie. This is not the most photo-friendly color in the world. Guess what? It's 8:30 in the morning. Shush. I have lots to do today. I was like, maybe I'll just tell them how to record. But then the pressure of like recording on the first day of the year somehow became totally overwhelming to me. And I was like, oh no, I have to do it right now. There's so much more pressure for the first episode of the year. I don't know, the last episode of the year. In my head, that's how it works. So, I apologize for the crazy hoodie. I apologize for extraneous noise you will inevitably hear because it is in fact the holiday break. So my husband did just go upstairs to record. See what I mean? He did just go upstairs to take a nap. I know it's 8:30 in the morning. He's been off work this week, so he has a crazy sleep schedule and he's not working. Crazy. So he just went upstairs for a nap. But my child is not upstairs for a nap. So you will hear lots of flumping and blumping and cooply-toopling. And she's trying to like get my attention at all times because she thinks she's cute. But as you don't call me less said, she's totally not. Well, she didn't say that about my kid, but she said about hers. And I'm sharing the sentiment. So number 2. Okay, number 3. What else? Epic hair fail. I know that's not unusual. None of these failures are unusual, but you know, whatever. It's still the same year, so I don't want to change it up on you too much by being pretty all of a sudden. It would be startling. So I could pretend that I'm having like some synergy with Mel and her beautiful beach hair, which is all curly and blown by the wind and gorgeous, and somebody made a comment about in a negative way. So I could pretend that I'm having solidarity with her by just putting my hair out there as crazy. But guess what? This is just really how it was. Shush, look at it. It's nuts. So I was thinking, I had this, I don't have enough to talk about today. So I'm just going to talk about some random stuff that has nothing to do with this podcast. Are you ready? Let's go. So I used to have this boss. I have had many, many former lives. I won't even pretend. But I used to have this boss. I worked at a bakehouse. Now, that's not a bakery. Like, I don't know how to decorate a cake. I always have the sad, wonky birthday cakes. They're like this. They make that noise when you light the candles, especially. But I used to work, so it was like a really hardcore bakery where we made bread, and it was in like it was artisanal. It was all handmade, and there was like a 4-ton French brick oven, and it was like 9 million degrees in there all the time. It was intense. I love that job, by the way. But I had this boss, and her name was Kim. Kim, I know you're not watching this, but I so wish you were, because I've lost touch with her. I don't know how to find her, but she had the most insane, like her hair was like it had sticks and twigs in it all the time. I don't even know how she, like, it was kind of like that. Ooh, that's even crazier than I wanted it to be. But she like had this, she was like so Amazonian. She was like 6 feet tall or something crazy. And she was just all, she was like pop and lock 24 hours a day before pop and lock was a pop and lock. Just all like, she like had a weird, like beautiful way of like throwing her like long body everywhere, taking up space. But her hair was insane. She had the really dark hair. And again, she looked like she lived on the beach in Hawaii, but also had twigs in her hair frequently. Beautiful. So I actually love crazy messy hair. And I can't ever achieve it because I have like the flattest most non-body hair in the world. So I just did like totally try to to be Kim. Kim, I love you. So anyway, how are you? Last rain of the new year? Not really. There's going to be more, I'm sure. But so anyway, I loved her. She was amazing. Oh, I wish I could be her. Not really. I like me. But oh, maybe with a little bit of flavor of her. It'd be awesome. Oh my gosh, she also had crazy bright blue eyes and freckles. Oh, could she have been more pretty? Oh, she couldn't have been. It's like my ideal beauty. Dark hair, light blue eyes, freckles. Breathtaking. Crazy hair. I will also tell you she developed a glow-in-the-dark armpit fungus at one point in her life while I was working with her. She was awesome. Anyway, so I think that's all the like very obvious visible failures right now. There will be more that present themselves, but those are ones I'm just going to acknowledge up front. So we have lots and lots and lots to do. I actually have a lot of knitting to show you, but today I'm only going to show you, I'm going to show you everything but garments today, I think is what I've gotten gathered. So I'm going to do actually an extra episode, like mid-late-ish of this coming week, and actually talk about, I finished my boardwalk out of the Peace Place. Love it. So I'm going to talk about that, and I'm going to talk about my Walpole, which I made good progress on. So, and then I'll have a great, like, that'll be great to talk about because those are both sport weight, but one is with the Beaver Slide 2-ply sock and one is with Peace Fleece, their sport. So it'll be a good opportunity to compare, contrast those yarns and talk about that. Okay. So this episode will just be hats and socks, I think, and some spinning. Maybe it's another, but there will be prizes. There's still going to be prizes at the end for the Crazy Cow and the Bizarre Bazaar Cow. Well, that's not a cow. That's just to entertain me, and boy did it. Okay. So those prize threads are locked. I have already done the drawing. And I'll talk more about how I did that drawing when I actually get there. Don't talk about it right now. Hold. So there have been lots and lots of shenanigans. I would love to tell you about them all, but I can't because this show would be 45 years long. And then suddenly I would be 80, and that would be very confusing. But I'll tell you about a few of them. So we totally had fancy pants brunch the Friday after I recorded last, which would have been Friday the 21st of December. We have a 4-lady buddy system here, and our like tightest in the inner circle of Indianapolis friends. The ladies all do whatever they want for the birthday, and the other ones oblige. So that's why we went to that burlesque show. I decided I just wanted to have tamales at my house for my birthday because I'm a square. So this last time was a brunch at my house. So a friend wanted brunch, like fancy mimosa-y style brunch. I put out a tablecloth. It was fancy. Oh, and then we watched one of the Jane Austen book films. I don't know which one it was. I think it was Pride and Prejudice. I don't know. It's the one with Mr. Darcy. I don't know which one that is. You know why? I've never read those books. I'm admitting it right now. I've tried to read those books I don't know how many times because everybody loves them with big puffy pink hearts. I have never successfully read those books. Just can't do it. I don't know what's wrong with me. I can't get into it. But it was very nice. So anyway. But the thing I wanted to tell you about that was it was nice, but this is the thing I learned. Okay. I like eggs, which is the next cow. I enjoy them quite a lot. I have ordered omelets at fancy brunch places several times and have constantly been overwhelmed with them. Everybody talks about omelets like they're so fancy and they're so great. And I'm like, oh, okay, I'll totally get on board. No, they're awful. Every time I get to a restaurant, they're dry and uninteresting, without flavor or moisture. It's basically just like having ingredients wrapped in like a styrofoamy egg-smelling shell. Boo. So I've been just very anti-omelet. However, the friend whose birthday it was requested omelets, so of course we have to oblige. Oh my god, omelets are magic. That's why I'm wearing this sweatshirt. To ode to omelet. It's my About the House sweatshirt. Omelets are so good. You should totally make them yourselves. you probably already have or have eaten at an actual fancy brunch place. But fancy to me is probably not fancy to you, but maybe you've eaten at an actual fancy brunch place who did it right. But I've eaten the fancy brunch places. I made them and they were magic. So that's my New Year's resolution, is to eat more omelets. That's not really my New Year's resolution, but it is now. The omelets are good. So that was so fun. And then, of course, we did the holiday tasticness, and that was awesome. I don't even know if I should tell you any about that because it was just crazy. It was holiday. It was fun. We drove to Cincinnati. We did our familial jaunt down there. Santa brought good stuff. We bought good stuff. It was exciting. My child did love all of her stuffed animals. I should tell you that. All of her knit things that I made her, she loved them all, and she still loves them all. But she loves them less than after she got this real stuffed animals at Grandma's house. So she really loved them all a lot and schlepped them about. And then we went to Mama's house, and Mama's house had fancy stuffed animals, like a fancy tiger and a cute little boxer puppy dog and a little dog that looks like our dog. And so the knitted animals went, They're still in the bed, though. They just haven't made the bringing downstairs and everywhere with us cut. And they actually had made that cut until I was like, dude, you got to stop bringing so many animals down here. Because my daughter will bring like 10 stuffed animals. She will come down like this. Try to carry all the things. I'd put something. So those were success. All the hand knits were a success for Christmas givings, or at least as much as I anticipated them to be. So it was good. We went sled riding. Oh man, I should tell you about that. I'm going to tell you that in the sweater episode. I have to make a note because I'll forget. Because I don't mess up in here. So for the sweater episode, I'm going to tell you about the sled riding. Because it involves several making fun of myself stories. Actually, just one. Maybe two. Okay, a lot. Let me tell you, nothing makes you realize you've aged. We didn't go sled riding last year because there just wasn't enough snow. So we haven't been sledding in 2 years. Wow, I aged quite a bit in those 2 years. It was a lot of sledding. So much snow walking. So anyway, let's get into the knitting. First finished object, which you have seen before. In fact, maybe the only one now that I look at it. I think that's actually true. It is. My partied up, getting down socks by the beautiful Macon of Stocking Knit Zombies out of the Hiawassee Creek's Charlie in the Charlie in the Box colorway. So this is partying it. This is getting down. I would put these on a sock blocker to show you, but because of the way the chevrons are, you can't tell. You can't see the chevron of a sock blocker because it blocks it not this way, but this far. So partying it up and getting down. Yay! What up? So they're super cute. They feel super well. I love them very much. Thank you, Megan, for donating the pattern to me. Gifting the pattern to me. Not donating. Gifting. Thanks. Oh, speaking of thank yous. And socks. I have thank yous to say. Which I totally didn't write down. Okay. Thank yous for donations. Nancy, Tracy, Bernita, and anonymous face. Hopefully, something. Whatever. Anyways, well, somebody asked to remain anonymous. Hopefully, I got all those right. I hope. If I didn't, I'll correct it next time. But thank you, ladies. They donate their real life in the world Yuletide dollars to the show. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I also want to say thank you to some peoples. Because, I don't know if you noticed this last 2 weeks while I was gone, but the Bridget sock is totally out in the world. This is the initial test sample, which I have worn, so it looks a little bit... I'll confess. I've worn it and not washed it yet. Oh. Oh. This is knit from a Hazel Socks or Hazel Knits Artisan Sock in the Solstice colorway. I cannot tell you how much I love this yarn, quite frankly. This color is gorgeous face. It's so pretty. You just put it on your feet and you look at it and you're like, oh, so pretty. It's not crazy bright. It's not like, ah, but it makes you happy just like in its solemn Andrew Wyeth beauty. Love it. This is like my favoriteest colorway. I have a couple of other versions stashed, but this is the bestest. So I wanted to thank my test knitters. Bacon Fairy, thank you. K to be died. Thank you, Molly O'Malley. Thank you. Pure Imagine Knitting, thank you. And STL Mama Knits, thank you. Did I get everybody? Yes, I did. Yay! So that's out there. It's a free pattern. Took me forever to get it out there. I was so intimidated. I already talked about it. I won't talk about it again. But now it's out there, and now I'm just like, well, I'm going to write some more patterns. That's one of my resolutions for this year. I'm going to do it. There's things in the works up here. It's going to happen. So that's socks and thank yous. Okay, now finished objects which you have not yet seen in progress. Do you love it? I totally love it. Look. There's tassels. I dig it hard. Dig it, dig it, dig it. This pattern is, of course, from Wool People. It's, of course, from Wool People. And it is called, look, I have a fancy thing. My husband got me the fanciest Christmas present I've ever gotten in my whole life. Now, before you hate me at all, this is my phone. Okay? $20 every 3 months. This is my phone. I'm not high maintenance. High maintenance. But oh my gosh, I got excited! So, that's not the pattern. But anyway, it's the Norby by I never know how to say her. By Gutrid Johnston. She's the Shetland Trader lady. Of course, she's beautiful. But do you love the hat? Shut up. And of course, I have to say thank you to Mrs. McElrath, which is Mandy. She get to be the pattern for Random Acts of Patterns to say thanks. So, isn't it beautiful? Here, oh, can I show you that? Yeah, that doesn't show you anything. Gosh. Silly Jared Flood and Shetland Trader people. There's a beautiful tutorial, by the way, on how to do the tassels. It's so pretty the way they photographed it. So there's her. She's gorgeous. This is knit from, it's of course it's suggested that you knit it from Loft, which I think that's those two, the fingering, right? So of course it's suggested that you knit it from that, which is a fingering, which he usually tells you to use a sport as an equivalent. I had this single ply that I had made from some leftover Romney. I showed you, I think I just showed you this last week. Because I totally spun it with the intention that I would make this hat with it. And I'm very happy. So it is just a single, but you can you tell? Yeah, you can totally tell. It does have a slight slant. See, that's not perfectly perpendicular to my head. I guess maybe it's just the way it was on, but I think it does have a slight, yep, it's got a slight, ooh, I have to think about it. It does have a slight slant. It is a single, so it's not as balanced. It was a very low spin single, though. Because of the Romney being a longer staple, you can get away with putting a little bit less spin in it, and it's still quite sturdy. So it was not like when the skein, oh, you can see it right now. Here's what I have left. So, see, you barely get any on its back on itself. So really that might just be because it's funky on there. Because really there's a lot of times I knit with regular yarn that is plied that has more action in it. What's it called? Not action. I'm going with action. This is like a low action yarn. Energy. Action. So I'm very pleased. Very pleased with that. My gauge, the only thing I did different is I did one less repeat of the chevron-y thing. Is that right? I think that is right because I think my gauge was a little bit off. Like it would have been way too big. I'm pretty sure I think I did that. I'm made a lot of hats this last couple weeks. I'm a little confused. But I'm pretty sure that's what I did. I think I did one less repeat because my single was fat. So there's that. Next finished object. And my beautiful hair. Don't hate me because I'm so pretty. My next object of finishedness. Oh, it's still got the skein in it. I would have been like, why is it so bulky? This is the cider press set by the lovely Amy Christoffers. It looks like that. And of course, there's also the mitt pattern with it. So you get two for the price of one. And in fact, there was a discount, which was very exciting. And you can wear this one both like this as a double. Ooh, this one looks not good on me that way. But you can wear it as a double layer, brim folded up, and like more snug on the head. Or you can wear it like this if you're really unattractive or you like to be on Fat Albert. Or you can wear it like this as the slouchy. Oh my God. It has a provisional cast on, which I loved. I loved how it turned. I love how that turns out. This yarn is the No Makers, her regular sock, which I think is an 80/20, but I don't have the band. And this is the Franklin colorway. It is fingering, but I held it double, and I love, because I just didn't know what to do with this yarn. It was so soft. I'm kind of twitchy about pooling, so I don't want to make socks with it. But it's the squishiest. These are not my colors usually at all. But I think I'm going to hold on to it because it's so squishy. It'll be great sled riding hat or in my giant yellow sweatshirt hat. But anyway, so I love what it did with the texture. I think the texture looks beautiful. And again, it is so smooshy and fun. And it was very pleasant. This was my Christmas car knitting. I didn't finish it all in the car. I had gotten the band done, but I got all the way up to the decreases in the car. So it's very fast, very easy. Definitely highly recommend it. Love the cast on. So cute. Oh, it's also reversible if you weave in your ends well, because the wrong side of is the right side. Love is wrong. But so, yay. But this is still my favorite. It's so woolly. Anyway. So, by the way, I'm loving the slouchy hat, obviously. It looks much cuter on me than the beanie, just because of my particular fat face. I think the beanie like highlights the, like, see if that's a beanie. See, you don't have any height here or here. So you just are like round. But the slouch gives you more height right here, so it squares off your fat face a little bit better. Well, my fat face. If you have a fat face, it'll do it for you too, probably. So I think I like the slouchy a lot. I didn't think I was hip enough to do the slouchy, but really, look at that. See, you can totally see it, right? And then it gives you just a little bit more height along its face, just a little bit. I'm making that all up right now on the air. That's why. So those are all the finished objects besides the boardwalk, which I'll show you next week or later this week sometime. I do have some finished. I have a finished spinning object. I don't know why I was going to lie to you and tell you it's more than one. This is, and I don't know who made this. I apologize, but this was from our fiber event in Greencastle, Indiana, which I'm still looking forward to next spring. This is alpaca roving, and it's blended with 10% Cormo and 10% silk, and it was 6 ounces. I got 180 yards at 8 wraps per inch. This is one of those things that I bought this before I realized I shouldn't say I don't like spinning with alpaca, but it's not my favorite. I'll say that. So I really was like, I just need to get that out the world, out of my spinning bucket. But that said, I dig it. I just did it really super fast, like laissez-faire. Is that a thing? I just made that up. That's not really a thing. I mean, that is a thing, but that's not the correct application thereof. Why don't I just bring attention to the fact that I don't know what I'm talking about? We do that some more. But I just, it's so soft. I just spun it as fast, well, not as fast as I could, but I spun it really fast. And you can see there is a lot of variation. Mm. And it's so boom soft. Booms. Oh, I cannot describe to you how soft and fluffy it is. So I'm very pleased with how fluffy it is. It's not really even, but I'm a C student today. A lot. Forever. Actually, I'm a B student. That's right. I could have worked 75 hours to make this an A, but instead I worked 5 hours to make it a B, and my net happiness is totally worth it. So yay. I've got to make like a crazy giganto cow or something with it because warm. Like, so then I do have some spinning in progress. I have the predatory color, accidental pom-pom on it. The predatory colorway by the beautiful Boutros Babe in her Superwash BFL mix, or Superwash BFL, not mix. This was 4 ounces. So this is half of the braid. This is 2 ounces on the bobbin. You can tell I do not have a woolly winder. These are my Louette. This is my Louette S10. That's the way spinning I have. But somebody was talking about it, and I know sometimes at the first of the year people they want to get wheels. By the way, I totally started spinning on January 3rd. So I'm almost at my 1-year spinning anniversary. How exciting is that? But the Louette S10 is a great basic wheel. I don't know that it's as versatile as like a Ladybug or anything like that because I've never spun on a Ladybug or anything but my Louette S10 and a Louette an Ashford Traditional that the person also had that they were selling secondhand. I didn't like the Ashford Traditional as much because it had tiny bobbins. Like the bobbins they're minis. They're minis. And I figured that I wanted bigger bobbins, which I did. So I am glad about that. The Louette S10 definitely does not have as many accessories and things like that as like a Ladybug would, but it's a very good basic wheel, especially if you get one secondhand, because the one I have is like 30 years old and it still works perfectly well. It's had the bobbin, or the drive band replaced, but all of the mechanics are enclosed, so you don't have to oil it, which is super awesome. Except somebody's gonna be like, "Oh my gosh, you totally have to oil it, you dummy!" I haven't oiled mine in a year because, as far as I know, you don't have to. It seems to be working fine. So this is the predatory. Again, I spun it. Oh my gosh, I totally fell down and bought the 3 bags full off Interweave. They were having a 30% off all digital product sale. So it's not fine. It'll probably make maybe like a worsted, maybe a sport, but sporty worsted. So I spun this while I was watching the first half of 3 bags full. So that means it took me exactly an hour and a half to spin this 2 ounces. So it's definitely not super fine. But again, I feel like I like worsted spinning because I can make lots of ridiculous hats with it. Whoa. Dang it. I'm just not in shawl mode. I guess maybe this summer, maybe I'll be more interested in that. But right now I'm like, give me a hat. Okay. Hat hole go. Hurts. So that's my spinning works in progress. Now I'll talk about actual works in progress of knittingness. It's gonna be all podcaster love that day. This is. Oh my gosh, I'm a bad person. No, I'm not a bad person. Okay, good. This is the beautiful Laura Linneman's hat pattern that she recently released, and it was gifted to me. Oh my gosh, because she's psychic. Because of course she knew I wanted to knit it. Who wouldn't? Oh my gosh, right. Okay, this really is not a bad thing unless you're doing a podcast and you can see yourself. Because really, if I can see myself, I would not be worried that it's floofier on one side than the other. But since I can't see myself, it's very distracting. Anyway, so the beautiful Valeria gifted me Laura's of the Knit Girls. She gifted me her pattern, which I was so excited about because, of course, again, I wanted to knit it. I hadn't even I don't know if I'd put it in my queue yet, but I wanted to knit it. And she knew, so she gifted it to me. She's a super nice face. So, of course, it's Laura's Girl from Nantucket hat. I touched too much stuff. I messed it up. So it is knit of a worsted weight. Isn't it cute? Of course it's cute. Laura Lemon's cute. And I am knitting this on, she suggests 7s, but I always go down 2 sizes, so I'm knitting it on 5s. This yarn is 1,000,000,000,000 years old. It's actually 4 years old. It's not 1,000,000,000,000,000, but that's pretty close. I have been coveting it, holding it close to my heart, and have been unwilling to make anything with it because I liked it so much when I bought it. I know, right? How stupid is that? But because I loved it, because guess what it looks like? I didn't know this then. I know this now. Look what it looks like. It looks like handspun. This is Mountain Colors River Twist. I lost the ball band a really long time ago. I actually had to look through Ravelry to try to find it. And so I don't know what colorway it is. But, oh my God, it's driving me crazy. Oh, Mountain Colors River Twist. So it looks like handspun. Isn't that fun? Which is one of the reasons I was able to finally knit with it, because I was like, oh, that's right. Now I can make yarn. Well, not perfect like this. It has the feel thereof. So I am making this size medium because it is for my friend. I have a giganto head. It doesn't really look like I have a giganto head because I also have a giganto body to proportion it out. But my head is 23 inches circumference, so this is a little bit small for me, but it should be perfect for my friend. Isn't it pretty? I don't know if you really get to see how pretty it is, but I really dig it. Oh, I want to say too, she uses the Twisted German cast on, which is the cast on I had never used before, and now I love it. I love it. In fact, I used it for this hat band when I cast on, because where did I? Maybe I'm lying right now. I can't remember. But I used it for the next hat I'll show you. I'm pretty sure I used it for this one too. The beautiful thing about the Twisted German cast on is it is more flexible, at least for me. What I have found is it's more flexible than the regular 2-strand cast on. Usually when I do a 2-strand cast on, I have to use a double needle to make it flexible. And then sometimes it's a little bit like fat in places. Like even if it's evenly gauged, it just kind of is fatty in places. So this has a good amount of flexibility. I mean, it's not like super crazy stretchy, but it's pretty flexible. But it's not as lumpy looking. Plus, it's perfect if you're doing a lot of purl on the cast on. So this is garter stitch in the round, which I of course knit flat and then seamed up because hi. But it has it looks like a purl edge. So it's very nice when you're doing a lot of purls in the first row. That's when I would recommend using it. And of course, it's always fun to learn music. So yay, Laura Letterman and her face. Thank you, Valeria. And then the next hat I also used that German Twisted cast on for. Shut up. And this is the hat by another podcaster who's in Ski Knits, who has, of course, the podcast Single-Handed Knits. Like I need to tell you that. But of course, she has a beautiful face of beautifulness. And its intersections break. And of course, I got that for free because she offered a coupon code on her podcast. Just listen in and you'll get it too. And this is it so far. I just started this last night. 4 hats, 1 episode. That's right. Whole count. Had a whole count. So this hat has a lot of good versatility. A lot of people have knit it in like very fancy. I shouldn't say fancy. I mean, they are fancy. But more merino-y yarns that are smooth. And then, but I really wanted it all super rusticy style. So this is some ancient, also from the wool event. This is from a Cormo, I think a Cormo Border Leicester Cross. I love this yarn. It was roving, it was not top, and it definitely had some veggie matter in it, but that usually doesn't bother me too much because I like to pretend that I'm super rustic. But if that bothers you, it would have bothered you. It smells so sheepy, and it totally had lanolin in it too. I mean, it's roving, but it definitely had some lanolin in it it still does, especially when I first spun it though. It was not the easiest thing to spin because it was roving, so the fibers were a little bit like, and it was just more rustic. So I could not spin it. Well, I can't spin anything perfect. Let's admit that right now. But I definitely, it was very nice for a woolen-ish spin. I love that. So I am using it double because single, it's more like a worsted. This is, again, this is very early in my spinning, so you can't see it, I don't think, but it's not the greatest. It's totally underplied a lot in places, but I was afraid it would look really bad, but it looks super cute knit up. Shut up. So I am holding that double. So that is a very dense hat, which is what I wanted because I'm going to use it for outside and it's all rustic and great. I dig it. Of course, the pattern is super easy and lovely and wonderful. Oh, and yeah, again, that German twisted stitch cast on looks real nice in there, right? Still pretty flexible. Not so floppy that's going to like stretch out crazy style without the ribbing. But dig it. I dig it. So that's all the knitting and the spinning. If you didn't enter the prize threads, then we'll see you next time. But if you did, stick around and we'll tell you about prizes. I don't know if I can tell you how much I really like that wool. Okay, so this is the thing. Merino feels like not wool to me. Like it's beautiful and wonderful, and I'm not dissing it in any way because it's amazing, but it doesn't really, every time I touch it, I'm like, that's not really wool, that's a trick. I know it's not. I know it came off of a sheep, but it still doesn't really feel like wool to me. This is soft still, but still feels like wool. That's kind of how I feel about the beaver slide. Like it's still very soft, and it is in fact merino. It's still very soft, but it feels like wool. I think maybe it's just the woolen prep or the woolen spinning versus the worsted spinning. Maybe that's really where the heart of my differentiation is coming in. I love it. If you don't know woolen versus worsted, woolen has a lot more air and loft in the spinning. Worsted is a little bit more compact and symmetrical and smooth. So maybe that's really where that like differentiation is happening in my head of like this feels like wool versus this feels like not wool. You know what I mean? I don't know. That's what I'm going with right now. But there are prizes. Okay, first off, I have already drawn the prizes because the threads were a little crazy. Not your fault, my fault. So I just wanted to go ahead and explain a little bit about how I did the prizes and how I whatever. Some of the threads did have double entries, but I didn't want to stress out about it or like, because I know you're all busy right now and I didn't want to like be like, you need to delete this post because it's chatter. I just didn't want to be that person. So what I did is, and it actually didn't even run into any problems, but what I had decided before I drew from the thread is that I would draw numbers and then I would check like, okay, post number, I don't know, let's just say it's not really true. The post number 12 one. So then I went back and made sure that number 12 person attached to actually did something, that it wasn't just like a blank post. And that this was in fact her post that had her projects in it. It was not a chatter post or his projects in it. It was not a chatter post and that there were not two posts. So basically I made sure you had only one post in the thread. Or if you did, that's how it worked. Does that make sense? Okay, so first off, we'll do the Bazaar thread because it was much smaller, although not any less significance in my heart because let me just say, my heart sings with Bazaar. And guess what? We had 20 entries, so random number generator was 2 through 20. Guess what number 1? Are you ready? Number 2! That never happens. It does happen, but it never happens. And guess who that was? Are you showing right now? Hannah Lou, 88! Hannah, you won. Hannah has watched the show for almost the beginning. And her beautiful husbandy person, AJ, has totally watched too. They watched together. So Hannah, you won! Originally I said you could have a project bag, but before I even drew your name, by the way, I had decided you could have a project bag, or you can have a bump of superwash BFL that I'll dye for you, or you can have a skein of fingering weight 100% merino superwash that I'll dye for you. But so just private message me and tell me your address, which I had it from before, but I don't know if I still have it. And B, like what colors you would like, and C, which one of those 3 things you would like. Okay, so then the big thread, which is the Crazy Cow thread, which there were entries 2 through 132. I was number 3, but again, I just said that I would just not, Okay. So the first prize was a Cloudy Apples ebook. If you have not looked at them yet, even though I've said their name like 75 times, go look at them. There's beautiful accessories, the Dunkerton Sweet socks, which I love, and some very cute hats and mitts. A great hat or mitt if you want to try color work for your New Year's resolution. Very simple, but very cute hats and mitts in color work if you'd like to try those for the New Year's. So number 36, which is Have Faith, Karen. You want a Cloudy Apples ebook? Go ahead and private message me because I don't want to ruin the surprise and just tell you what tell the Cloudy Apples people first, but and then I'll sync it up with them. She knit like 10 things in the thread. Very exciting. Second Cloudy Apples ebook goes to number 9, who is Crafty Princess Tammy. She also had many hats that she had knit for Christmas. Okay, then prize number 3. I think this is the one I would most want to win. I don't know. It's hard to decide. This is the Minnesota Moments shawl kit, which of course you can make with the shawl, or you can just make it to make it because it's awesome sauce. Whoa. Are you looking at this? Are you looking at this? Are you looking at this? Are you ready for the super crazy? Of course, this is notated by the super generous face, Corey iRock Knits, and the next one too. I'm going to thank you, Corey. Shush. So the winner of the Minnesota Moments shawl kit is number 132. I don't need it, honey. They've already seen my hat. Number 132, which is Annette from Auckland, New Zealand. Which, by the way, that is the last entry. And she made crazy stripy socks from all of her scraps. They're very cute. Good job, Annette. It's Annette Wool. Annette Lee. Something like that. But anyway, that's who you are. Yay! The next prize, also from beautiful Corey, is some crazy yarn. Shula Can. Oh, I didn't do that. It was already like that, I promise. Maybe. A little bit. Oh my gosh, I don't want to mess it up anymore. But there's 2 of them. Oh my gosh. And that was number 130, which is Scully B. Michelle. She knit her first adult sweater. Yay, Scully, you were rewarded in more days than 1 for your first adult sweater. Prize number 1,000,008. Donated by the Stockinette Zombies, my co-cal contributors of Calliness. And the beautiful Girl Cave bags is this totally awesome Crazy Squirrel bag. And this goes to number 96, who is Kathleen. You win. Yay. She made gifts for everyone, pretty much. She had a whole stack of gifts she made. And the last but not least prize is Crazy Awesome Husband donated by Diane. There's a troll involved, people. Okay, there's this one which has crazy nerds attached. They're not really nerds. They're not going to dissolve in water. But crazy, and it makes this noise. But even better, if that's possible. There is a troll on that. Put a troll on it! And that goes number 127, who is Bunny Slipper Socks from Woodburn, Oregon. Her first name is not on there. Maybe it's Bunny. I don't know. Probably not. From Woodburn, Oregon, who also made her first sweater. Yay! So, congratulations to everyone. Everyone, even if you didn't win a prize, because again, as Megan of the Stockinette Zombies says, your prize is really your knitted gratitude of awesomeness face of me. That's not what she says at all, but you know what I mean, right? Same sentiment. This is what she sentiments. So, sorry this was a long one. I will be back later in the week to talk about sweaters. And I hope you all have a most festive and most safe ringing in of the new year. I'll talk to you next time.